All right, who's going all in on Rivian today? Oh, that Volkswagen partnership has a lot of people pretty excited about Rivian. So we'll see what gets to happen to Rivian once the market opens up. Right now, Rivian's up about 40%, looking like up yesterday 8%. I'm sure there was no insider trading or insider information there at all. But anyway, yeah, 8% on the day, and then all of a sudden up 40% in the pre-market here and post-market. Sure, nobody knew. This volume spike, total coincidence. Anyway, so welcome aboard. We'll see what the day looks like here, and it looks like Nvidia is going to be trying to head back to the north side, up just over 2% in pre-market. Looks like folks were waiting for some signal of a bottom to buy the dip, and they got that yesterday morning. So the stock was pretty much up throughout the rest of the day. Yesterday, when this announcement came out, by the way, on Rivian, Rivian stock shot up, and I looked at it, and I looked to see where it stopped, and I'm like, oh, once again, right there at one of these lines that I've drawn. Now, I thought that was pretty wild because I haven't actually looked at Rivian in a very long time, and it's just I look back and I'm like, oh, look, lines. Pretty wild. By the way, in terms of news, there's no data. There's no 5:30 data this morning. Tomorrow we'll have the quarter-over-quarter annualized sales. Annualized GDP, but not today. But anyway, so I thought this was very interesting, and then look at this. Then you actually ran up, and then came right back down to my line. So this 1577 line, well, actually the line itself is 1595. 1595 is a pretty important line for Rivian. And in fact, because it's been so long, and it seems to be so right on, it does make you wonder, what exactly is going on? Well, it's a fibby. So it's the bottom, right up to a fibby, and now we're riding the next fibby. So next stop after this would be 2071, and then 2456 thereafter. So pretty cool. Let's see if that let's see if that continues. It'll be very interesting. So that's it's a little bit on Rivian. Then we have FedEx. This was very interesting. The FedEx earnings report led the stock to move straight up. And let's see here. We have FedEx sees adjusted EPS at $21 for 2025 versus the 2085 expected. Low to mid-single-digit percentage growth. Let's see here. CapEx expenses to be a little lower than expected. Assessing the role of FedEx Freight. That's it. FedEx stokes investors with hint of freight deal. Oh, hint of freight deal. I see. To maybe sell off the freight division potentially. Some like anchor maybe in earnings. Interesting. Yeah, review of FedEx Freight is well underway. Interesting. Okay. And then Whirlpool shares also surged after Reuters reported that Bosch is considering making a deal for the appliance maker. Yeah, I'm sure the FTC won't have any, antitrust issues there. Whirlpool, wow, still up 17%. Yeah, you zoom out for a moment. Look at that. It's just gotten reamed. Absolutely wrecked. And they did great during COVID, but after COVID, everybody had their new appliance already, so sales kind of went in the toilet really, really fast. So, very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so that's Whirlpool. So we've touched Whirlpool, FedEx, Rivian. And let's take a look at some of the other pre-market, the movers. Wait, a Whirlpool, hold on, what's the total price or cost of Whirlpool these days? Whirlpool stock. Whirlpool is, wow, only $4.75 billion for a company that's this, you know, well known. That's pretty impressive. That's really interesting. And then, let's see here. Whirlpool, Rivian. Ben here has donated $5 to talk about Enphase. You know, there really isn't news on Enphase. You know, I think you've got Enphase rising, and I mean, you look and it's like the only news in June has really been social media volume rises. I think there are like 7 pings about that here. So, in fact, Enphase and Teradyne were added to the Goldman conviction list. And, you know, First Solar is basically kicking all the other ones' butts. First Solar sold off pretty heavily because of fears of Chinese panel competition. That's actually exactly why I didn't invest in them. But they actually did really well. They skyrocketed. This is the week chart. So, I mean, it's remarkable here. So if you look, 22 was basically their low, post-COVID low. But even over here, this I think is where I was looking at that. I'm like, huh. And I remember looking at their valuation. I thought, oh, their valuation's pretty good. It was at 150. But I, too, was too concerned about the Chinese panel competition where you have basically First Solar's a solar panel manufacturer. And the Chinese market just, quite frankly, is able to dump solar panels in the American market. And the cost for solar panels has absolutely plummeted, which is great because it lets more people install solar. Especially in a high interest rate environment, that's a wonderful thing. But yeah, they're like the only ones in the energy space that have actually really been killing it. So, good for them. But otherwise, there's, you know, solar is an interest rate sensitive segment. And it will take until rates come down for a while to actually get this moving again. So, it's not like 125 basis point cut is actually going to move the needle here. Oh, now this is a very interesting move. You've got Nvidia rotating down about... It's actually, like, crashing right now. What is going on? That's straight down. This thing was up like 2.5% just moments ago. And now it's just coming straight down. Let's see here. That is the 127 level where it is now. Nope. I do not see any particular information on why this might be happening. It could just be trading. Trading. Oh yeah, it keeps going. Look at that. That's wild. It wants to give up all of its gains. Is it gonna be a red day again? Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Let's see, is there something more broad going on here? You've got Robinhood. That's funny. Robinhood's up about 3%. If I go look at the Qs. Oh, the Qs are falling as well into the pre-market. But I didn't see broader news here. Let's see. No. General Mills forecasts annual profit below estimates, citing cost pressures. Chipotle to begin trading post-split. That's cool. Let's see that. CMG. Okay. Oh, there it is. Yeah, look at that. Wow. Look at those numbers. That looks wild. $3,283 down to 66. That looks like a drop of a lot. Let's see. A drop of 98%. That's funny. I'm sure some apps glitch out on these stock splits, which would actually be quite entertaining to see it say negative 98%. Yeah, look at that. The Qs are just dumping. Poopy doopy. How bizarre. Rivian's pulling back down to that 1595 level as well. Enphase falling. Tesla's falling. Bitcoin has given up once again on the 61.7 line. That's bad. It's a bad omen. You don't want to lose 61.7. And it has lost it since 3 a.m. Eastern time. Alright, let's see here. Coinbase down 1%. Carnival didn't really move much. ARM Holdings crashes here in the pre-market. Oh, why? All of them. Look at that. Super micro right through the 840 level. Yeah, American Airlines is down, frankly, because people thought that the consumer would continue to spend. And American Airlines gave a warning that they expect their summer profits to be a lot lower than forecast. And that pissed off a lot of investors. Understandable. Oh boy. Let's get some coffee flowing here. Ay, ay, ay. What is this world? Okay. Let me see here. Interactive brokers filed claims on the NYSE technical issues. Interesting. Okay. Whirlpool, we talked about that. NASDAQ futures pre-market low. We're watching that happen right now. Futures fade. What's going on with yields? Let's take a peek. Yields are up about 5 basis points. It's a good chunk on this early to be on no news to be up 0.05. Wow, look at that, almost perfect bounce right here on the 478.39. Let's see if that pain's continuing. No, I don't think so. It looks like Tesla's is. Let's go to unaveraged here. Here's Nvidia. So trying to come back up. Bizarre little sell-off there. And yesterday was a pretty bullish day in markets. Most things trended up, though there was a lot of sideways moving. I hate days when the market moves sideways. Just a great way to lose money. I like lots of momentum, lots of big roller coasters. Okay, so let's see here. Then you've got Rivian. Yeah, I'm watching to see if this is gonna end up going back down to 1595 and up from there. FFIE. Oh, it's actually up 10%. A little bit of a bounce at a quarter. All right. Let's listen and see if they've got anything to yap about. Strava here. One of these days, Fox will load. All right, while we wait for that to load. Ah, interesting. Southwest Airlines cuts revenue forecast as well. That's the same thing that we saw with American Airlines. So it's the entire industry is facing this issue. Southwest cut its second quarter revenue forecast, citing changing booking patterns. It's just a warning. It's a warning. Southwest fell about 4%. Expects revenue per seat per mile will fall 4 to 4.25% over last year. Previously estimated 1.5 to 3.5. Also said unit expenses would be up. Capacity would rise as much as 9% instead of flat growth it had previously expected. Southwest still expects good quarterly operating revenue in the second quarter. Airlines are raking in record number of passengers, but higher costs and growth capacity have weighed on fares and profits. Yeah, well, might have record, customers, but a lot of them have record customers because, yes, there are more people flying, but they added more capacity, thinking that it would make them more profitable. It's not happening. They're calling the environment dynamic. Delta and United have benefited more from international travel. Yeah, you could probably make some more money that way. All right. So, what do they got?
States under the Biden administration just this year alone. Historically, it was less than 1,500 a year. Over 10,000 Russians. These are countries that are a threat to the United States long term. Like, they want to see the United States just wiped off the map.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad you brought this up, Chief. You know why? Because the 47,000 Chinese nationals who've come in, we've got pictures of some of these people being apprehended. They look like Navy SEALs. I mean, they certainly don't look like they're running from persecution. I'm wondering what the point is of all of this. Why are they here? Will they be saboteurs once if Trump wins? They'll do who knows what they'll do to create discontent in America. And then the media will play it as if America is mad at Trump winning the election. What do you think?
Agreed. And Maria, 41,000 of that 47,000 are single adults. This is not families fleeing China, and the massive numbers don't leave China without Chinese government control. Right. That's just a fact.
Right. It's a communist nation. You can't just pick up and say, I'm going to move to America, right? You need approval, or you need to be directed.
Directed. I vote for directed.
All right. Little immigration update. I'm sure you didn't bargain for that. Why do they do this to me?
It's not going to be about just one cut or two. It's going to be about what the 10-year price is and what the market price is for the Fed. That's the real risk here. And if that happens, we're expecting a deceleration in shelter, CPI, and PCE, and that's really fundamental to bringing inflation down to 2%. Right. And then the next leg of that risk playing out is that the progress that we expect on shelter inflation is undermined.
Well, Renmax.
Yeah, I doubt that. It does seem like shelter inflation is going just the direction that we have been suspecting based on what's going on in the real estate market. Rents are pretty stable to slightly declining, which is exactly what you want to get inflation down.
I think it's very nuanced right now. It's more nuanced than that. I do feel like it's cherry picking season at Bloomberg Surveillance this morning. But it's important to understand that in this complex environment, the patient approach that the Fed is delivering is the right one. We do have a lot of firepower should the economy decelerate. But I also am of the opinion that that first cut and the decision to start easing is very consequential because of how the market will price it. Just remember, in January, we were pricing 6 to 7 cuts. And so I'm not pessimistic on the economy. If you think that the Fed will deliver 2, maybe 3 cuts, that means that other people's baseline view is not for a sharp recession. And then in this scenario, just having more confidence on the progress on inflation is right. Waiting before you.
Yeah, deliver. It looks like markets right now pricing in 1.77 cuts. for December. And if you look at November, the market's pricing in a 1.04 cuts. So still getting that full cut priced in by November, but not so in September. Only pricing in about a 0.7 level of cuts. So in other words, 0.7 cuts, so less than 1 cut being priced in for September. So we shall see.
Kind of, from the pandemic. I'm most focused on Friday when we get the PC data, not the inflation piece, but the consumption expenditures, because we see goods going lower. But at the end of May, we set record travel for kind of going to the airport. So are people still spending on services, and that's strong, versus goods? So the picture is really kind of fuzzy, and I think, again, you can sort of draw your own conclusions. And that's a challenge, I think, for the Fed, but also for us. But as long as it's not really deteriorating, it's sort of still, I think, kind of generally risk on.
We like cherries. Jason Draho of UBS, Blorina Yorichi of T. Rowe Price. Both of you, thank you so much for being with us. Right now, let's get you an update on stories elsewhere this morning. Here is your Bloomberg brief with our own Yahaira Hackes. Yahaira.
Hi, Lisa. We start with Disney as the Fast Pass may be about to get even faster at Walt Disney World. Starting next month, Disney's Florida theme parks will let visitors reserve a space in line for rides up to a week in advance. Currently, parkgoers can only book a day ahead. The new system will be called Lightning Lane MultiPass. Guests at Disney hotels will be able to make 7-day reservations for up to 3 rides. But it's going to cost you. For example, the MultiPass, which allows 3 reservations, starts at $15.
Yeah, I honestly don't understand why they try to do these like little $15 or $5 upsells or whatever. Like, what they should be doing is doing, like, you know, pay $1,000 and go on as many rides as you want, you know, front of the line or whatever. Like, I don't know, that's my take. They got to get some high ticket options in there because they don't have that. But Universal does, and it's really smart. You know, so they don't even charge that much over at Universal. I think you get a, like, Islands of Adventure, let's say, in Florida, it's like $180 or whatever. No, it's like $129 for a ticket. And then their unlimited Fast Pass is like $180 on top of that. I think it's something like that. Anyway, point is, it's a little bit more than doubling the ticket cost, but then you basically skip the lines on every single ride. And the fact that Disney has this, like, reservation system is weird. Takes away the whole, like, spontaneousness of being able to just wander around and, oh yeah, let's go on that. Oh no, I gotta go in the app and make a reservation first. It's so dumb. Oh yeah, I'll plan my theme park rides out a week in advance. Also dumb. I don't want to sit there on my phone the whole time if I'm gonna be at a theme park with my kids. Wanna be able to enjoy the theme park, not play Mr. Reservation Booker. What's the point of a theme park? You walk around, you walk up, go on the ride. Book a week in advance for $15. That's stupid. I don't get it, Disney. Y'all being weird. All right. So if a large percentage of people buy the Fast Pass, I'm pretty sure there's a limit to how many of the Fast Pass tickets they sell to prevent exactly that issue. So, yeah. Yeah. All right. What else? Yeah, Disney does have the VIP tours. But, you know, then you're stuck with one of their employees the whole day. And that depending on who you get, that can be great or it can be really bad. Because think about it like having an Uber driver. You know, sometimes Uber drivers are great. They get it. They're respectful. They can gauge if you want to talk or if you don't. You know, they can kind of gauge your desires. Then you get Uber drivers like the last 3 that I had that aren't that great. It's like, one won't take a hint that you don't want to talk. Talking to you while your phone is ringing as you're trying to call somebody else. Anyway, another is pay me direct, and then they cancel the ride, and they're like, pay me direct. Like, okay. Total scammer. And then, by the way, now that you've paid me direct, I'm going to take you to this sketchy gas station because I need gas. Or another is like, I'm going to save 50 cents worth of of fuel cost between here and our destination 10 minutes away, and we're gonna ride the whole way with the windows down, even though Lauren's hair's blowing everywhere, and and pretend not to speak English when it comes to air conditioning. So I don't know, like, I can't wait for robo-taxis from that point of view. Just like, you know, a nice, predictable service and no shystering would be really great. It would just be very refreshing. You know, I don't know. I don't get it. Blows my mind. Oh, well.
Evidently, it's cherry-picking season on Bloomberg surveillance. And on one hand, yes, that is true. I mean, how do you sort of look at all of the bespoke stories? And if you try to extrapolate out a theme, probably you are going to be a victim of cherry-picking, and you can be accused rightly of such. At the same time, how much is this a Rorschach test? Basically, what we're looking at a lot of, as Jason just said, a lot of...
All right, yeah, this is boring. They're going to be talking about Rorschach tests. Always get Uber Black. Don't be cheap. What is that? No, I don't know about. I don't even know what that is. Let me look. I go on Uber so rarely. All right, let me see here. Ride Uber. Okay, let's see here. Uber X. X. Oh, that's the normal one, I'm guessing. Comfort. I don't know what the difference is between that. It doesn't say. Uber XL, that's bigger. Black SUV, long wait. Okay, well, that's dumb. So, economy. Uber Pet. Okay, so black's supposed to be some premium service, but they're going to make you wait forever. Well, that's dumb. So, yeah, it's literally 4x the price of an Uber X, and you have to wait forever. Yeah, maybe I'm just not in the right area for that. If they're not enough service providers, then that doesn't work either. Just drive yourself. Then you don't have to worry about it. Yes. Yes, that is the solution. We will do the driving. Anyway. Alright, so let's see here. Let's go through another day of can Tesla keep it up? Yep. Uber helicopter is the way to go. If Uber pilots are going to be the way Uber drivers are sometimes, no thank you. Our company partnered with Lyft. Better service. Oh, that might be an option. So, actually, the guy who canceled because he wanted to be paid directly and he didn't want to pay the company fee and wanted to be a scammer. That guy, that was through Lyft actually. Uber likes more space, or you have an option where say you want the driver to be quiet. Yeah, that's interesting. Drivers in Egypt tried to turn their light off to save on bulbs. Are you serious? Wow. Wow, that's very interesting. Uber Black isn't always available. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Ross destroyed Kathy and then finished her off with kindness. Huh. Yeah, there was a lot of polarization there. You need a chauffeur. Well. Rarely go. Rarely leave the house unless it's for real estate, and then that's usually floating around. So I've had those experiences with Uber too. Yeah, well, it's just annoying. Rivian, is Nvidia still falling? Let's see here. Take a peek. Oh yeah, look at that. It's only up 30 bips. Oh my gosh. I was there Genie Pass. That's Disney, right? I was there last month with the Genie Pass. First available time for the ride I wanted was 4:30 p.m. I tried to book it at 7:30 a.m. See, that's dumb. Like, that's my point, is like, if they told you, for example, hey, but if you pay $30 right now, we'll get you on the ride within 5 minutes. You know how much freaking money Disney would make? There's so many people that'd be like, yeah, I'll do that. And then what you do is you just move the price to where there are only like 10 people in the fast pass line at any given time. You know, so if too many people are booking it, you raise the price during peak demand times or whatever. You have some kind of algo that controls the market value of that, so that you can put a limit on how many people are there. Yeah. Well, I see some comments here about people not liking people who get the front of the line stuff. It's not that expensive. Like, I don't understand. It's not like there's no entitlement. It's literally like for $130, you could basically go nearly the front of the line at almost all the rides at Universal Studios and Islands of Adventure. It's not my fault you don't want to spend an extra $130 and you want to waste your time in line. Like, that's not like a luxury. It's literally like, you know, it should be like a rounding error for your vacation if you're going to go to Orlando, Florida anyway. So, I don't know. It's not that much. You pay for a service, exactly. Busch Gardens also has it. It's like another $30 to $50, and you get to the front of the line, and it's a lot shorter wait. Exactly. Yeah. That's crazy, you know? So, I just think of that. Like, you know, you could literally go to a theme park and like an Islands of Adventure, and you could maybe go, if you have to spend 90 minutes on a ride, you're probably going to get to go on like 5 rides with a 90-minute wait. If you could get that wait down to, say, 15 minutes, let's say, with a fast pass, just to make the math easier, you could literally go on 6 times as many rides. So you could either go on 5 rides or you could go on 30 rides. So, like, then when you look at it, you're like, okay, but it's going to cost me double per ticket to go on 6 times as many rides. And then I look at that and I'm like, wait a minute, that's a great deal. I can go on 6 times as many rides for twice the cost. I'm like, you're literally arbing the system. Simple math tells you you should do that. And then it's like, well, I don't have another $130. Well, then you shouldn't be going to an Orlando vacation. You'll be paying more on a hotel, on getting out there anyway. Like, it's dumb. You're wasting your time. Like, should be the purpose of going on a vacation is to treat yourself. And it is a great deal to pay for that experience. And like I said, it's not that. It's like nominally more. I don't even know why that's a debate. It's like shocking that that's a debate. Crazy. So anyway. Disney, yeah, so that's interesting. Disney does not let you stand in line to newer rides unless you stay at the resort. See, now that's a little more expensive. You know, because like what I prefer to do is I rather go in a cheaper hotel and spend more on those fast passes. Because like I'm not going to be at the hotel anyway. But the lines are part of the experience. Said no one ever. The best experience is walking through those suckers. Kevin, invite all course members to Disney for a day. Nah, we're not going to that place. We'll go to Islands of Adventure together. That's what we'll do. Yeah. So, it's crazy. All right. Not feasible for most people. Most of us can barely afford basic the thing, look, let's just be real. If you can barely afford basic tickets at Orlando, say once a year, if you can barely afford those basic tickets, the problem is not the price of the tickets. The problem is your income. Like, I want to be like blunt and clear here. You gotta figure out how to make more money. Like, I know, just to be like clear about how simple it is, there's so much of a demand for piloting. There was just a pilot conference next to my conference that we did in Vegas. And there are folks who have gone from, you know, nominal waged like line workers to pilot in like 2 years, and then they get a $130,000 job right away. And like, then there's upward mobility from there. It's like, okay, cool. Now you can potentially, as a pilot, go from 130 to, 150, 200. You become a pilot in command. You could, of certain jets, you could go to 250, 300 or more. Some of them can get paid $400K. And then what people do is they side hustle train people as flight instructors on top of that. And great flight instructors make great money. So, like, there's no shortage of an opportunity to make substantially over 6 figures. So again, I'm going to be very clear. If you're coming into the YouTube comments section on a stock market open live stream bitching about how you can't afford an extra $129, I'm sorry, you don't make enough money. You can, and you're failing yourself by not figuring out how. It's your problem. It's certainly not my problem. It's certainly not Disney or Universal Studios' problem. So, if you need some more reality, we have a coupon code on the programs on Building Your Wealth where I teach you this kind of stuff and how to do it, either in real estate or finance or otherwise. Link down below, expiring Friday. All right. So Nvidia is now down almost a full %. It is breaking the 125 line. Crazy. Crazy. So let's see here. Somebody's like, that's the compassionate Kevin. Sometimes I think, like, we're so worried about people's feelings that people never get the dose of reality they need. Like, I was asked, hey, Kevin, should I rent out my children's playroom so we can have some additional income? And I'm like, are you saying you want to, like, the home that you're living in with your wife and your children have a playroom, a basement, you want to take the playroom away from your children to rent it out to a random stranger so you can have, what, $800 more a month? And they're like, yes, that's exactly what I want to do. I go, that's stupid. You are taking and robbing from your family for $800 a month. How much money do you make? Oh, well, my income just went down because AI took a lot of my job. Like, you need a new job. Like, I'm not gonna do, oh, yeah, that's great. You get a contractor and they can build this wall and you can put in AC and all this. And let's not even talk about the money that you have to invest to actually convert that to be functional as a separate unit, especially if you want to get permits for that. Let's not talk about that upfront investment. Let's talk about the underlying issue. You just got replaced by AI. So how are you going to adapt? Because America and capitalism is not a communist country. It's adapt or die. So you could be a little pansy-wansy and go, I'm entitled not to have to get a different job. Or you could hear the dose of reality and go get a better job and get a new career. Welcome to capitalism. And if you don't like it and you feel like, oh, that hurts, me on the inside and I don't like that reality. I should be able to graduate high school and make a living wage. Go move to China. And your living wage over there, first of all, is going to be working 12-hour days, 6 days a week. And then you look at the average average hours worked in America is 36 hours. The Chinese literally work twice as much as we do. Even those of us that are like, oh, but I work 40 hours a week. Have you ever calculated in how many hours you actually work a week when you take out paid time off, sick days, and holidays? It's about 35 hours a week. You have, if you sleep 8 hours a day, you have 116 hours. It's actually 112. You have 112 hours a week. And the average American works 35. So if you're bitching about not having another $112 or whatever, $129 to go to Disney, what are you doing with the other 77 hours? Oh, you're bitching in the YouTube comments. Got it. All right, let's see what BTC is doing. Okay, so 61.4. The Qs are now down 0.25%. And Nvidia, ooh, down 1%. Nice. Kevin, people should be able to make a living doing whatever they do. It used to be like that in America. You just weren't around to know. That's called entitlement. And it doesn't surprise me that you have Cali in your name because you got entitled California all over what you just wrote. Wake up to reality. We are in a capitalistic economy. If you want that sort of sense of entitlement, you will just be left behind. The choice is yours. Like, it doesn't affect me. Echoes from Above just donated $4.99. That name sounds oddly familiar. Great advice, Kevin. Now, when are you coming to Chicago to see me? I'll come to Chicago anytime you want. I actually like Chicago. Chicago's gotten really beautiful. Since I went there during 2009. It wasn't that great. In fairness, we were just coming out of a recession. But it's really cleaned up. It's really gotten nice. All right. So Tesla down 30. Everything's kind of falling right now. 33 on Tesla. Enphase 83. What is this? 27 on the Qs. 86 on Nvidia. But we've seen this before where just like an hour ago, that's about 40 minutes ago, you actually saw Nvidia move up for about 8 minutes. You got about 8 minutes of a move up, and then you went right back down. So we're at about 4 minutes of a move up right now on Nvidia. And so I don't know if you're actually going to win with an uptrend here. Now, what is moving up is Faraday futures. So you got Faraday futures moving. We got Nvidia going down. So let's go ahead and tag these all here. Let's see. BTC is we do have the broke omen here, 61.7. Rivian I want to keep an eye on today as well because I think it's gonna. Yeah, I want to see 15.95, and I think it's a buy, but we'll see. How much cash do they have now? Let's look really quickly. Rivian Investor Relations. We'll do it together quickly. So, whatever. Oh, why do they make this so complicated? I just really quickly want to see a balance sheet. Why is it so hard? This is the investor relations page. Why? Why? There we go. 10Q. Oh, they want to give that? There. Gross. Just give me a PDF. My goodness. Okay. So, balance sheet. We had $6 billion in cash, but we did have payables of 2.4, and then long-term debt of 4. So, and then what's our cash burn? Because they're losing money. Cash burn's about 1.5 billion for 3 months. Oh, good lord. Okay, so I've got 6, 1.5. I have a year of cash left. And then came Volkswagen. Volkswagen. Volkswagen will invest up to 5 billion. So that's another year. You just basically doubled their runway. If regulators approve the transaction. Yeah, it'll get approved. Because Rivian's going to probably go bankrupt without Volkswagen. And that's what their stock has been pricing in. So now you unprice bankruptcy. It's actually pretty good. All right. That's an interesting green candle there on Nvidia. Breaking news, 2 million fast food workers quit their jobs after listening to me, Kevin. Good. You should graduate fast food as soon as freaking possible. You know, like, I used to work for Jamba Juice. Like, it's a great start. I worked for whatever, $8 an hour. But I knew if I stayed there, I'd be stuck. That wasn't. If I knew that at 16, I think you should know that today. All right, what else is moving? Apple's not really. I'm trying to find some other movers here. Is Palantir moving? Let's see. C3AI, no. HP, no. Just want to see some other movers. I could go to the spark lines, but I'll just click on them quickly. I'm already here. Hopefully nobody's got like epilepsy with all these flashes that are going on here. I'm gonna have to start putting a disclaimer up for that. Trade desk almost at $100. Nice. I like this one. Oh, Redfin, like I thought they must have gone right back down. Yeah, they did. Yeah, because they were running there for a while. They sort of run when small caps run. There, go to the average candlesticks. The average candlesticks, by the way, will fix that when something's really thinly traded. Like, Trade Desk was super thinly traded, and it just looks like little dots or whatever appearing in the pre-market, wherever it was. Anyway, if you put on, here, if you put it on the average candlesticks, it cleans it up a lot. Say non-average, look at that. It just fills it in nicely, so you could actually try to look for trends a little easier. Wena made some money on that girl today. Wena? I don't know what the heck that is. Wena. A new medical. Oh, this sounds like a tiny little penny stock. It is $18 million market cap. Yeah, you gotta be really careful with these suckers. $18 million. It's worth like less than 1/5 of what House Hack is worth. That's funny. Because House Hack's a $100 million company. It's 1/5 of what House Hack is. It's like it's. And I just say that just to show the comparison. That like some of these penny stocks, you got to be really careful, just because you know they'll double and then they'll take 90% of your money away. It's scary. Yeah. So yeah, Rivian's just hanging out right there at the line, and Nvidia. These are your momentum movers today, I think. Faraday Futures, Nvidia, Rivian. The Qs. I'm gonna move the Qs up again. If you type them in, they show up on the upper left. Tesla like never gets momentum, so I'm gonna go for Hood instead. It's very hard. I mean, I'll put Tesla up there just to watch it, but Tesla just has not been able to keep it up. Yeah, and coin will have a little bit of a drop, but BTC feels pretty stable right now. Unless that'll be the next. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, this is the worst environment to trade in, by the way. When you see this, it is much easier to trade when this is what's going on. Is Dell moving down? Tesla needs stimulating. Yes, it does. It needs something to help get it up. Dell. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right. And I think ARM is in there, too. I'm going to put ARM in. Yeah. All right. Let's see what Jimbo has to say for us this morning.
Chief Software Officer Rivian.
I don't know if you're serious, because the message is nice. The message is, thank you, Kevin, for everything you provide. You helped change my life. God bless. But your name is Fugazi, and you got Jordan Belfort as an icon. That's funny.
Panicked. Yep. We were going to go to Georgia to do the show.
Oh, really?
I mean, what are we going to go to Georgia? What are we going to do? Like, go see the Falcons? No, thank you. I mean, come on, check me out. I don't want to go to see the Falcons.
No. It's House Hack Market. House Hack isn't publicly listed. My point is, these small caps that are penny stocks that are publicly listed, they're so extremely volatile. It's crazy. like House Hack's valuation doesn't really change until you have a fundraise, right? So, and we don't think we're going to fundraise until, ideally, if we can pull it off, we don't think House Hack will ever have to fundraise again until we IPO. That's ideal. Just raise money for mini funds and be done.
I think that's wrong. You should compare it to the Lamborghini, not the F-150. F-150 sales are fantastic. There have been a series of raids done on Ford saying that the F-150 sales have weakened. It's completely untrue.
You said this yesterday.
Yeah, because I saw it again. That Ford's having a weak summer. Now, my Travel Trust owners are going to talk about it tomorrow at our investing conference, but it turned out to be a real tough market anyway. And you go in and you're Musk. Why you got? If you shoot the king, you got to kill the king, and the king is F-150, and they have that's not happening. I mean, they won't even make I used to have a Super Duty. Yeah, after 15 years, that's their time. But anyone who has the F-150 is not looking at the Cybertruck. The Cybertruck is for very rich people who work in Silicon Valley and don't go anywhere.
We did get another month.
Wow. It's like every single day, I'm getting more and more confident Tesla is at a bottom with the amount of Jim Kramer bagging we're getting here.
Countdown to the opening bell in a moment.
All right. So, yeah. Next. Oh, look, folks, it's Fox Business. I wonder what they're going to say about the market.
There's a major drug war going on south of the border.
It was like the perfect clip. I couldn't have timed that one better. I mean, that was 100% luck. But as soon as I fade in the audio, there's a major drug war going on south of the border. Oh, it's perfect. Oh, it's perfect. Live event was amazing. Excellent interview. Ross and Kathy talk was fire. Completed an 8-figure exit of my company. Nice. We'll be looking forward to the next symposium. That's super cool. Thank you for that. Congratulations on your exit, and thank you for the $10. People, and thanks for coming to the event. And the nice comments. People are really sleeping on Amazon. If you look at their estimates, free cash flow will be higher than Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple by 2027, 28. Yet its market cap is below. I actually kind of agree with you. I have not looked at those forward cash flow estimates, but I'm partial to Amazon. I had someone explain to me that minimum wage is there for people who have zero experience and typically living with parents. Yeah, I agree with that. Let's see here. Bob Kendall says, I'm the new Jim Kramer. Thank you. I've been seeing Cybertrucks in Michigan. Why does Kramer remind me of Bridgekeeper in Monty Python? Oh, nice. Tesla will run to 300, then Kramer will pump it. That's funny. Inverse Kramer guaranteed Lambo. Oh, that's funny. Why do we even bother with Fox Business? Yeah, somebody asked me why we don't play Fox Business, and then they thought I was like channel racist. So I started like, diversifying a little bit and like giving them a little bit of a chance, but then they just keep proving why we don't go to Fox Business.
And I get the stocks up a lot that Rivian's getting access to, because what Rivian needs is capital,
right?
And it's up to $5 billion, not a certain $5 billion. But they also need some manufacturing help as well.
I mean, that's the hope, right? That's why we see this 36% pop in the stock pre-market. Rivian gets the money to build the Georgia plant. Maybe they can go from 400-volt architecture to 800-volt. Maybe someday they can actually put Apple CarPlay in a $100,000 vehicle. That boggles the mind that they don't have that. The problem is, Volkswagen made a partnership with XPeng. The stock soared in China and now has lost 2/3 of its value.
Yeah, and again, I look at Rivian's track record with JVs. I think the point is that for the legacy OEMs, they're still hedging their bets. You look at Ferrari now talking about doing a hybrid, for example. There's a recognition that this is one strategy. You acknowledge the competence of the pure play EV makers. Rivian does have a great product. Good talent, it just needs help executing on it, and execution's kind of key. They've de-risked the balance sheet with Rivian with this partnership, And at the same time, VW can hedge its bets, continuing with many gas or combustion engine models, and continue to look at hybrids, as many of the legacy OEMs are, with the offset of the partnership with an EV maker that's focused on one thing and one drivetrain.
Right, Ferrari's SF90 Stradale already a plug-in hybrid. I think you should take a spin in that, Ed, when you get a chance. Bloomberg Technology co-host Ed Ludlow, definitely want to tune in for their program at 11 a.m. for more on this, I think, massive story. And Ed is our...
Well, they just told us everything we needed to hear. Yeah, it's very interesting, and it's a good point of you to argue that it's sort of like these other companies are hedging. Totally agree. Look at Robinhood and my lines. You know, I drew these as day trade lines, but they keep proving themselves. Very interesting. It's the 22.92 and the 22.56. They're not fibs. They're literally just channel. They're just the top and bottom of a channel that I've seen it in over and over again. So if the lines stop working, I delete them. So most of the time when you see the lines that I have, it's because they're still working. It's kind of cool. Yeah, Iron Riv sitting right on the fibby. We'll see what happens at opens. At the open, rather. 125 is a big line for Nvidia, mind you. 125.58 is where I specifically have it. So, I don't think the 58 is as perfect. I wonder if it's somewhere around that 125-ish range. At least that's what we saw yesterday. So, Enphase down again. Yikes. Okay. Super Micro. 840. It's an important spot. 5 minutes to go until the open. Carnival sitting right there at our line again. See, this is that was another interesting one. Carnival. I mean, look at this. It's riding the line over here. Finally, you know, it's hitting resistance at this line. Breaks out on earnings right to my next line. Just, the lines are crazy, man. I love them. So, Nvidia's trying to come back here at the open, it looks like. So, Nvidia's trying to go up. Faraday gave up. Chipotle's doing nothing. Nvidia just went green.
Gained the lead.
And, Robin the Hood's bouncing on the line. And Tesla's doing nothing. What a surprise. Was ein Surprise. Alright. When are you getting a Bugatti? I don't want a Bugatti. This is somebody watching too much Andrew Tate, huh? I don't know. That guy bothers me. Like, I know some people get motivated by him, but I despise his you know, like, bring misogyny back and his you know, go make me a sandwich attitude for women. Jackass. Anyway. So let's see here. Well, look at that. Nvidia, nice little pop there now. 30 basis points. It's trying to hold it. Nah, it's 20 basis points now. It's trying to hold the green. But boy, there's a lot of volatility in there. Let's go to the unaverage and you see it a little better. There you go. Very curious to see Nvidia at the open. Very interested. Yeah. All right. So, let us see here. Let's see what the scene Besiz has. Or are they just going to be on commercial? Oh, they're just on commercial. Oh, everybody's just going to be on commercial. Is that the game we're going to play now? Fine, then. Yep. I always do that. That's all right. Let's go see what leftover news is. So, Whirlpool we talked about. Rivian we talked about. Talked about FedEx. SEC. Oh, interesting. What's this? SEC weighs next step for hedge fund rules. Weighing a response. Forcing firms to detail quarterly fees and more about expenses. Okay, well, that's pretty niche. Housing is set to be a drag on the U.S. economy. Coming into 2024, the U.S. housing market appeared to have stabilized, helping support the economy after 2 years of declines in residential investments. With the latest monthly data on housing activity now in hand, however, it seems that it's clear the sector is the sector appears to be becoming a drag again. Oh, that will lower GDP, which will increase the odds of Federal Reserve make a cut. We like it a cut. It's been a long time waiting. Very long time waiting. Yes. And now, we get to see what happens with Rivian. With Nvidia, up 5 basis points. And watch the opening bell.
Then you should say the whole board should go. Because he's fulfilling what the board wants. Now you can say, well, wait a second, it's the rubber stamp board. It's not a great board, but not rubber.
Let's get the bell here at the big board. Sound Point, Meridian Capital, celebrating a recent IPO. And at the NASDAQ, it is aerospace and defense contractor AeroVironment.
Now, they're going to be on Mad Money, and I have felt that one of the things that is really big, that people in the behind the scenes in the Pentagon, they say...
All right, here we go. Looks like we've got ARMS trying to move up 1%. Nvidia's trying to move up. Faraday Futures is giving up. Ooh, big red candlestick on Rivian. Looks like a lot of people trying to get out. Looks like Tesla's actually going up the same amount that Rivian's going down. And then you've got... You know, what you probably have is a lot of long-term holders who are like, oh, yes, that's just the amount of money I needed. Bye. That would be my guess as far as what's going on. So we'll watch that, but not a surprise. So then Tesla, big candlestick. Big pricing power. On Tesla right at the open here, up about 60 basis points. Nvidia is trying to continue to move up, so is ARM. Rivian staying below the line. This is not good. Not good at all. No. So then you've got trying to get some activity there. Still 72 basis points on Nvidia. Bitcoin's not doing anything. Qs are trying to go up. Robin the Hood's trying to go up. Tesla's up now 1%. Look at that. That's a candlestick right there. That's a candle and a half. ARM tops out. Nvidia slows down. Turns into a red candle. The Qs still technically down, but Robin the Hood is going to the moon. As is Tesla. Tesla comes out of nowhere with actual momentum. Oh, here comes the Rivian rebound. The Rivian sell-off is ending. Nobody knows a bounce back better than Rivian.
Yogurt is the food that you want to eat more of with GOP-1, I'm told.
Organic down 6. Street was looking for down 3. The only unit that had positive organic was North American Food Service.
I know, and I thought that Jeff Harmoning was really, the stock had been doing better than most in that cohort. Coca-Cola's been the one to watch in that cohort because, again, people just look at these things and say who has snacks, who has salty stuff, who has stuff that people aren't going to eat. Pepsi versus Coca-Cola. First time, very big disparity. Coca-Cola up about 8, Pepsi down a couple. But I just think that General Mills, I was counting on them. They did raise the dividend. You're selling something with almost a 4% yield, but Pet was bad.
Yeah.
And I was thinking the Pet was going to be.
Although now we're building a list of positive macro, negative micro. General Mills pricing, Southwest. You've got, as we said, mortgage rates 3-month low.
Well, I mean,
Target cutting price.
We haven't heard from the Federal Reserve of Kalamazoo, and I'm waiting for the Federal Reserve person in Big Sky, Montana. See, we can make them up. Well, it doesn't matter, right? There's like a gazillion of them. You're the Federal Reserve from Springfield, Montgomery County, not Delco. I do find that what happens is that you're going to get this group of stories versus, say, what happened when you listened to the Lennar call and the KB Home call, which they're not going to take the bait. They're just not building a lot of homes.
Right.
And we need to have something happen with this mortgage problem that makes it so that, like, if 1/3 of things are bought by cash, and if nobody wants to get rid of their 3% mortgage for a 6% mortgage, well, that means we need to have homes. Well, it was interesting, by the way, what we saw the KKR buying more homes.
Yeah, some multifamily, right?
I think that makes a ton of sense. Well, it's hard to fault KKR. They've been true north the whole time here. Very important.
We did get the 30-year fixed down to 6.93. That's 3 straight weeks down, even if it's just 1 basis point, Jim.
Well, look, I don't care. I need supply, I do not need lower mortgage rates. I need supply. Because what should happen is we should get to a point where you build a marginal house and then suddenly you realize, oh my God, I don't care. I got to sell my house. The price is too great. And that doesn't happen. Again, that defies what I'm sure Jay Powell was sitting there saying, listen, we'll have a tipping point. We always have had a tipping point. This is the cycle that has not been like any other housing cycle.
Yeah.
It's just not. It's confounded the Fed.
Yeah. You mentioned General Mills. We did get an upgrade of Campbell today out of J.P. Morgan. They go to overweight.
Well, when I spoke to Mark Klaus, and he's a terrific CEO, by the way, and a huge Eagle fan. He had the Jason Kelsey stew, which is, by the way, very good. I didn't want to open it because I like the can so much, but then I was in a jam because my wife was around. Man, that stuff is great. But here's the story with Campbell's. This Rayo's acquisition is working. And I had some, by the way, the line extensions, I had the Rayo's chicken soup the other day. It tastes like coming home. Which was the name,
okay. I don't care what it tastes like, Jim. So, all right. So let's understand a little bit of what's going on in the market. Tesla's bobbing around a little bit, trying to hold on to some of its rally mode here. You've got Robinhood's coming back down to reality a little bit, so big sort of move back down from the Robin the Hood breakout there. I think what's happening with Tesla is you're getting enthusiasm over the fact that a legacy investment into electric vehicles is suggesting that we're getting back to an environment where other people are going to make investments. Other businesses are going to make investments around EVs again, and you'll actually be able to see some money making. It gives a little bit of hopium for this idea that, hey, maybe Tesla after all is the best. Yeah, so that's a potential thesis that you're getting, I think, after the Rivian deal. Then, although expect a lot of volatility here in the AM. Let's make sure we actually have the screen up. So nice bounce right here on Hood. Perfect bounce on that 22.90 level there. So not bad. Then you've got, let's see here. You've got ARM at just 45. Tesla is kind of bobbing around a little bit there, getting a little bit of some curvature back down. So then you've got the Qs sitting on top of their 478 line. You've got Nvidia sitting over here at, what do we got? Just right on top of the 125 line. And let's see here. Bitcoin moving back up to that resistance line. That's actually very important. That's a big deal. So happy to see that. You've got, let's see, moving back up on Hood. Rivian does not like this at all. This extra 1 year injection. I didn't trade any Rivian here. Wanted to see what happened. I did think that it would be pretty bullish for Rivian, this investment, because you're extending their bankruptcy timer by a factor of 2. But you literally broke the line, came back to test it again, got rejected, and now you're just really getting whacked here. So clearly went a little onto the bearish side. So not so great. Then you've got... let's see here. Okay, that's interesting. You've got the Q's pretty stable, and Nvidia gives up again. That's somewhat surprising. Just the level of give up that we're getting over here. So doesn't seem to want to stay bullish on the market here. Although BTC is suggesting he should be. So let's see. What is Jimbo saying now?
In the wake of, I like that. In the wake of Carnival, I just thought of that. In the wake of Carnival, when you see Disney and you see that they have a huge number, the huge number of ships, they have 8 ships, it becomes the experiential company. And maybe you have to reserve for the rides. You know what should happen right now with Disney? I've been thinking, what would be great? Well, what I would do is I would have Hugh Johnson come out.
This is like 3 days in a row.
Well, because it's a great story, and now people are saying the quarter's going to be good.
Yeah.
Good, get an upside surprise. And I guess I'll have to be on that call, too. I am going to be one busy fella.
Wells thinks that cruises could be 10% of experiences operating revenue by 26.
And if you go back on the Carnival call, which, by the way, was just a tour de force of, where they were like taking numbers up
Holy
for 20,
smokes,
30.
look at Tesla. It's going right back to the frickin' races. Let's go! I think that's what's going on here. I really think that the market is saying, oh shoot, if Volkswagen's going to throw money at $5 billion, maybe EVs actually are going to be part of the future. So I'm not so big. I don't know. I keep getting tempted over here by Rivian, but we'll watch what's going on. Anyway, let's go back to Jimbo.
A CEO, like a permanent CEO, that would be good.
Yeah. Jim, we spent a lot of time sort of wringing our hands about the labor market. The paychecks quarter was kind of in the middle of the range, yeah?
Yeah.
Guidance a little bit above the midpoint.
Well, I mean, this has got to be the first time that the stock isn't down 4 after they report, and then they have to come on Mad Money, and we have to take the stop. Look, remember, this is small and medium-sized business, and that's been a very good sweet spot of the economy. That was a good number. This is one, it's not a light company versus, say, automatic processing. People love ADP. They love ADP. It doesn't matter what happens. ADP, they take the stock up. Yeah. But I think Paychex is undervalued.
Interesting print. Your eyes, if you look at Chipotle today, your eyes do not deceive you.
No.
At 63.
Yeah, okay, so this is really important. Chipotle is what I'm talking about. Initially, people get excited. The stock was up 60 cents in pre-market. The whole morning, it was up 60, 70 cents. But what I'm telling you is that when you get 50 shares, you're going to sell 10 of them. And that's okay. You have a churning process. Did we not have a churning process in Nvidia? Some say that it overly churned. But I do, and Nvidia should be down by now. Let me see where it is.
Yeah, Rivian can't seem to hold it up. It's the money is really going to Tesla. Like this Rivian deal was for Tesla, it seems like. Very, very interesting. So yeah, this is fascinating.
I'm going to say that there's going to be more class action suits. Anybody who has even like a rash is going to sue these guys. That was horrible.
Yeah.
As my lawyer, Bruce Birnbaum and Paul Weiss would say to me when you come in, he said, Jim, bad set of facts.
Yeah.
Bad set of facts, which means basically let's start writing checks.
Yeah, well, we thought it was bad before.
Oh, jeez. And we had an activist in there.
Yeah.
Alan Shaw came on, defended himself pretty well, and I thought that East Palestine might be in the rearview mirror. But that was one of the most damning press conferences.
Okay. This Tesla rally is absolutely insane. This is absolutely insane. And it makes sense, but there's a chance I think this Rivian deal is pushing this sucker to over $200 today. This is crazy. Thank you, Rivian. I'm also very excited, knock on wood, but I bought a call right at the open. I hope it keeps making money. Of course, as I say that, it's going to make a red candlestick because that's how the market works. But yeah, as usual, I send all my alerts to everyone in the Stocks and Psych group. So the idea is not to copy trade. The idea is to get my perspectives and see what I think. I also, like 3 minutes ago, like over here, bought a call on Rivian. But mostly because I actually think Tesla's doing so well that it's just going to end up dragging up Rivian. Dude, if this call, I will buy a house for Lauren if this call goes in the money. I have a Tesla call. It is up $125,000 right now. Holy shit. I'll take it. So I guess I could put this up on. Hold on. Let's see. I keep moving my limits because this is like crazy. But anyway, so Qs are moving up nicely. Rivian's coming right back to the line. Tesla's now up 3%. And then you've got Nvidia. It's bouncing on the line. That's pretty good. And Tesla's now up 310. Still got that red candlestick forming here. Qs are about to go green. Robinhood right back to my 2292 line. And yeah. Let's see here. Okay. 342. We only had Pi Day there on Tesla for a second. Then you've got, how's Rivian doing? Rivian's coming up to test that line. And there we go. Stop hit. Took my money. Let's go. Oh, that was nice on Tesla. Oh, dude, that was great. That was money in the bag. I just kind of kept moving up the sell limit out on Tesla. I think I'm done for today. Let's freaking go. That was awesome. That was awesome. Yeah, that's great. I don't know if I want to be done though. I want to see where this thing bounces. But it's great. I know we started getting red candle as soon as and I knew that was going to happen too. It's like as soon as I start talking about having the call on Tesla, it'll tank. So I quickly move my limits up. Like, all right, go ahead and sell if you hit the number. I got my profit locked in, so to speak. But wow, that was fun. It's like the dopamine hits of trading are just like they're so freaking nutty. So people are like, finance is boring. I'm like, yeah, you keep thinking that. So I like the game. All right, Jimbo, what do you got? What are you gonna shit on Tesla about now?
It's really hard to do what he was talking about. But he says this is what his goal is.
Yeah. Overall, Jim, kind of a challenging tape. Not many sectors in the green. There's some chatter today about this Russell rebalance on Friday. What's going to happen is it maybe gets a little less tech heavy.
When have any of those rebalances been any good at all?
Yeah.
I don't think you need Micron. Oh, God, is Micron reverse big? I mean, I don't want to, please don't reverse big. Yeah, reverse big. Micron was up 4 and now it's down. So people are getting a little nervous. They're getting nervous. I don't know. There was enough positive research that the market should have been up today.
Yeah. Yeah, we had at least half a dozen upgrades. But
yeah.
At least a bit of a soft open here.
Yeah, it is. Let's hope that. It's funny, you started today with FedEx. Does FedEx really have this few legs? I guess so. I guess it doesn't have any legs.
Yeah.
No pin action. When I was bowling, unless you hit the lead, the number one pin, you're not going to get any.
Yields may have something to do with this weakness for equities. You got the 10-year.
Oh, the auction's coming up.
Yeah, we're pressing back up against 4.3
Where's
here.
Josh Frost when I need him? My treasury guy.
Yeah, there it is, 4.3 on the nose. As we do look for new home data.
Oh, sweet! My Rivian call is up like $13,000 right now. Let's go. I'm gonna move up my stop loss a bit just in case, because that way it can fluctuate and do whatever it wants. So when people hear stop loss, I know they think that means you're losing money, but you can use a stop loss to lock in profits. So I like doing that. I just move up the stop losses. Let's see here. I could show you quickly what that looks like. So I run it on Weeb desktop, and then I watch the sticks generally on the options. And oh, that one took profit. Okay, so Tesla one stopped. But anyway, that makes it really easy to sort of like just visually trade. And then it's automated too, so it takes the emotion out of it, because like if I get a big red candle here, I don't care. So for example, I can move up Rivian here to, I don't know, like a limit of 125, place that order, and now I'm locking in. Like, so if this pushes through, it'll execute, which is fine. Now it'll go through as a market, which sucks because I won't get 125. It'll probably, you know, clear at like 120 or something like that. But it should be well above the 107. And then sometimes too, if things are moving up, like with the Tesla one, I just kind of keep dragging up the take profit target, you know. So let's see what's actually happening on the yeah, we're right there at the line. So this is your test now on Rivian. So you either move up or down on this here at the line. The fact that we're now starting to potentially break out of that fib might suggest that people, like the people who wanted to dump at the open dumped. Now you've cleaned up the order book, and you might just have a license to run basically here. So Tesla's sideways right now. So I'm probably going to wait on doing anything with Tesla until I get away from a consolidation. I generally don't. I lose money trading consolidations. Like I think I just lost $1,000 because I went into another call on Tesla and I got stopped out right away. But that's okay. Like I don't mind losing $1,000. You know, the first one that I did in the morning, you know, was up, you know, like almost 100K or whatever it was. So they're little lottery tickets. And I try my best to trust the lines as much as I can. I don't actually really have lines for Tesla right now, which makes me a little nervous. So I'm waiting for this not to consolidate anymore. Yeah, now that Rivian call is making money, so that's up 21,000 right now, and I put 50K in on it. And then the Tesla call that was up 100K, that one I think I put 130 into that one. I was pretty confident this was good news for Tesla. So, anyway, we'll see what happens here. Somebody says they have a line for Tesla at 197. Okay. I don't know, man. I'm having trouble at 193 right now. Okay, bullish on BTC. It's right back to my 61.7 line. That's good. That makes me bullish on the day. Sure enough, the Qs go positive. Look at that. Even the index is above the line. Scam market, halt. I generally don't trade stocks that get halted because it, like, if you have, like, the gap opens and ups and downs after after halts are very dangerous. They're a great way to destroy a portfolio. So I generally stay away from that. Yeah, my Tesla potential re-entry keeps getting cheaper here. So, and then, come on, Rivian. So anyway, all right. Look at the Qs, man. Qs are just happy right now. Dang, I'm happy right now too. Oh, going right back to the line. Remember, folks, if you want all or any of the trade alerts, you buy once in the Stocks and Psych group. The price goes up over time. You're guaranteed the price is not going to be lower if you join in the future. The price will be higher. If not, you can email us and complain, but I don't expect that to be a problem. Okay, Rivian just closed. Let's go. Rivian stopped out at gain. And then I generally post a picture of the actual transaction too, so you have it. But Yeah, we're doing, after the debate, we're doing another coupon expiration on Friday. And again, there's no guarantee that past performance is going to guarantee future results. No guarantee at all of that. Okay, see, I set my limit for 135, and it filled at 131, which is fine. I know that. I know there's going to be, like, you know, a spread when it runs through on these stops. I'm okay with that, because that still made money. Because I got in, what did I get into that for? 107. I guess that's okay. 500 contracts at 24 cents. That's 12 grand. Okay. Sweet. Now it's losing the line. But anyway, yeah, so the thing is, like, it's not meant to copy. It's like, okay, here's a trend Kevin sees. Do I agree with the trend, you know, or whatever? Like, those are the sort of evaluations that you want to make. But I send those when I'm in office, mostly because I can make my videos and I could trade. Kind of, I go back and forth between the two. Obviously, when I'm traveling for real estate, I try not to trade because it's really hard to trade if you have unpredictable Wi-Fi. Stop limits help, but I don't have my Starlink yet for my plane, even though I paid for it. Elon keeps telling me 2 weeks. Do you teach about calls and puts in your course so anyone can understand? Yes, absolutely. It's in the stocks and psych in the lecture section. There are a bunch in there. Can you make a video on selecting the right strike for day trading? Yeah. I think we already added some lectures towards the end, so check. But hit me up in the course member live if that that still doesn't help you with what you're looking for. I'm always happy to add more lectures. FFIE, is it up right now? Let me see here. Where's that puppy? Alex, you watch lecture 1.0, and then after you go through lecture 1.0, it takes about 10 minutes, and then it automatically enrolls you. If you haven't done that yet, that's why. Otherwise, if you still have problems, you can email staff@mekevin.com. But doing what I just said will be faster for you. So, anyway, okay. Wise to have stop-loss limits on your normal stock? I mean, I don't know. See, like, I'm conflicted on that because if you had stop losses set on Nvidia when it was $900, you would have gotten stopped out the one day it went to like 762, and then it ended up running to 1,000. So in a long portfolio, I think the commitments you're making to a stock should be sort of agnostic of these fluctuations, right? Like there's a long portfolio and there's a trading portfolio, and I think they should be separate from each other. So yeah. Now something else that I've noticed about this market, and I think it's wise to discuss. Day trading is dangerous. Day trading is absolutely dangerous. Long portfolios shouldn't be leveraged. Totally agree. Yeah, like when I day trade, I put money in that I know that this is just not going to sound relatable. I'm sorry, but I put money in that I'm not afraid for that to go to zero. And if it does, oh well. But it's not going to change my life. It's not going to prevent me from going on my honeymoon. It's not going to prevent me from, buying a house. It's not going to affect my businesses. That's the point. Now, if I can take an amount of money like that I feel comfortable trading, and I can make even more money, then that's great. So, so far my trading portfolio doubled. It started with 900K. It's more than doubled, which is great. I don't know if that luck will continue. I could get screwed bigly. So, I'm very well aware of that. But anyway, what I was going to say is one thing I notice about the market is the beginning and end. And this is always true, but the beginning and end are very volatile, and that's where you can really make some money. In between, and this happened to me yesterday, I just lit money on fire because I kept trying to, I'd buy an option, and anytime I buy an option, I set a limit, and I look at it as like a little lottery ticket. So I'm like, commissions, spread, and then the fact that, when it stops out, it executes as a market order on a stop. yeah, I just assume 10% is going to go away every time. And so the middle of the day, it's just sort of a warning I want to give that I found in this market. The middle of the day lights stuff on fire. I don't know why it's like that, but it's kind of like this. You could see an uptrend on ARM, and then all of a sudden you just get smoked. You see an uptrend on Nvidia, and then you get smoked. And that's all it would take to get stopped out. The middle of the day sucks. I don't know, just like Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's been the same. And it was weird because the week before that, it wasn't like that. The week before that, you could make big trades in the middle of the day and catch good trends. But I don't know what it is with sort of the middle of the day today. It's very undesirable to trade. See, look at this. You could have traded the uptrend on the Qs, and it's gone. So it's just it's a little bit of a bizarre middle of the day market. So like weirdly, the last 20 minutes and the first 20 minutes have been the most desirable for me right now. And I used to avoid that time. But that's okay. Like the market changes. So you kind of have to change with it. Now look at this. Nvidia is going to lose the lead. It's crazy. Yeah. It's a 1 minute chart. It is. So what I like to do is I like to, when I look for a trend, I try to count 5 minute candlesticks. And I use that rather than the 5 minute chart on purpose because I want to see the trend catching on earlier. But yeah, you have to be careful of that as well. But like, you know, a stop loss doesn't care if you're looking at the charts on a 1 minute candle or on a 5 minute candle. You only need one 1 minute candle to stop you out. Yeah, look at this. Tesla's bleeding now. This is crazy. I really think this Rivian news is great news for Tesla. So I want to see where this levels off, and I'll probably go shopping for Tesla again today. Wow. Yeah, some of these options are turning a little cheap. See, I just watch, like, the computer that's in front of me, I just watch the option pricing. And, like, here's a 200 on Tesla. It's, like, freaking tanking. That's, like, from top here, it's down 50%, basically. So this is why, you know, options are dangerous. If you don't have stop losses, like, it could be very bad very fast. I mean, this is the span of 15 minutes. You know, 50% is gone. But that's why you can make money so quickly. You know, if you catch the uptrend. So. All right. Well, Qs is trying to bounce again. All right. Let's listen in over here.
As we said before the break, housing data crossing the tape right now. Let's get to Rick Santelli. Morning, Rick.
Good morning, Carl. Yes, this is our May read on new home sales. Expected to be on a seasonally adjusted annualized units basis around 630,000. Coming in on the light side, 619,000. And that is the smallest month-over-month rate since November of last year. And there's some big features in the market quickly. The old 2-year versus the one we auctioned yesterday. Well, the new one is about 6 basis points lower in yield. So that 2's10 spread went from almost minus 50 yesterday to minus 43 today. And watch that dollar yen. It's over 160. It's only traded intraday above 160 twice since the late 80s. And it's only closed above 160 in 1986 was the last time. So you want to pay attention. You also want to pay attention to Diana Olick, who's going to give us much more color on today's week new home sales. Diana?
Well, Rick, you're right. It was a big disappointment, down 11% month to month, down 16.5% year over year. But I would note that there was a major revision to April sales number from 634,000 all the way up to 699. So there was a major revision up to April and then a big disappointment in May. But what I want to note here is mortgage rates. Mortgage rates were very high in April, and then they dropped off pretty sharply in May and came down to around the 7% range, coming down from 7.5%. They did, by the end of the month, get back up into the 7.3% range. But these numbers are based on signed contracts during the month. So people out shopping and basing their decision on that mortgage rate at that time. So that's why you might see the disappointment as rates got higher again, or we're coming off the highs, although they did drop a bit in the middle of the month, but obviously not long enough. We did see a price drop 1% year over year, so not huge. The builders, of course, have been buying down mortgage rates, but they're talking more about concessions. We've seen that in the builders' earnings reports. And then supply, we went to a 9.3-month supply from a 9.1-month supply. So supply is building, and that's why we've seen housing starts come down a bit. Basically, the builders have said that, people are interested, but that, look ahead to sales over the next 6 months. That came down in the builder sentiment report. So they're seeing people out looking, but not signing on the dotted line. And as more and more of these reports come in, what we're seeing is that the housing market is really stalling this summer. Back to you, Leslie.
Yeah, housing affordability is certainly a key consideration there, Diana. Thank you. Let's get to FedEx. Shares on pace for their best day since June 2022. The company reporting a beat on the top and bottom line thanks to cost-cutting initiatives. FedEx also forecasting a stronger than expected fiscal year in 2023. Let's get the street's take. Joining us now at Barclays, analyst Brandon Oltglensky. He has a $350 price target on FedEx. Brandon, thanks for being here. So the title of your latest note says 4 key results were about as good as one could ask for with committed cost reductions. Where's the upside that gets FedEx shares to $350, your 12-month price target from here?
Yeah, well, Leslie, and thanks everyone for having us on. Look, FedEx is in the middle of a transformational change at this company. They're actually merging their overlapping express and ground operations. And if you can imagine, they have trucks going to almost every location in the U.S. today, like 2 of them, whereas UPS, their main competitor that has much better profitability, only sends 1. And it even expands out beyond that to numerous overlapping facilities. So as they go through that process, the company is actually becoming more efficient from a cost standpoint, but actually more capital efficient too. And I think the real reason, or a big driver of the share upside today, management and the board announced that they're actually looking at a strategic assessment of their freight LTL trucking business, which actually we think could be worth 30, maybe even more, $30 billion of a market cap of this company that's maybe 65 today. So very significant news there. And I think just a step in the direction that says this company is becoming much more shareholder friendly.
So you think that could be a potential sale then? If so, to who? Or do you think a spin out would be a more likely scenario?
Well, it could be a strategic buyer. I think a merger might be difficult because FedEx Freight is actually the largest less-than-truckload carrier out there. They have $9 billion of annualized revenue. But a spin actually might be very favorable. I mean, we look at most LTL carriers trading, with 20 PEs, and FedEx today is sitting at 13 to 14 times. So definitely some financial upside there if they chose to spin the asset.
Yeah, the financial engineering math seems to work. We know spin-offs often are good investments once they're done because of the focus and the surfacing of the earnings stream. Is there a risk that FedEx, though, is backing away from that business at a relative low for the industry? It seems as if they want to simplify the story. They want to simplify their business. They want to simplify how investors view FedEx Corp. So is there a concern about that at all?
Great question, but actually, I know freight transportation has been effectively in a recession now for almost 2 years, but within the LTL sector, I'm sure you guys know, a unionized competitor, Yellow, went out of business last year. So the industry's down by about 9 points on capacity, which means pricing and margins have been up. I mean, I think FedEx Freight just put in record profitability. We do see.
I think something to keep in mind regarding the shippers, and I know a company like Zim has been a focus of a lot of people interested in international shipping and freight, is you actually have substantially more problems as a result of what's going on with the Houthis than a lot of people expected. Very, very painful with just the amount of time this Houthi issue has been going on. Oh, what's the breaking news?
Win here for social media companies and the Biden administration in the Supreme Court in the case of Murthy versus Missouri. The Supreme Court here saying that the plaintiffs basically don't have standing to sue in this case. Remember, this one was all about the question of whether the Biden administration was somehow improperly influencing social media platforms in terms of COVID-19 and election disinformation and all the subjects that have been so hot on social media over the past several years. The states argued in this case that the Biden administration was improperly influencing the social media companies and should not be reaching out to them. The Biden administration instead argued, this is just normal course of business. We communicate with the media all the time. Here, the Supreme Court is saying that they're throwing out lower court rulings that did favor Louisiana, Missouri, and other parties. Ultimately, they're saying that's on standing grounds. So this one is now moot, and that's a win for social media companies, including Facebook, guys. Back over to you.
So Eamon, that means it's not necessarily a judgment on the merits of the argument. It's kind of saying they don't have the proper legal ability to bring this action?
Yeah, that's correct. And there's a whole lengthy write-up here from the Supreme Court in which they're talking about some of the weaknesses in the state's case. So they are specifically going after some of the arguments that were made by the states in here. And we're going to go through this ruling as we get a couple of minutes here. This is just hot off the presses, but they are addressing some of the substance here of the arguments, but ultimately saying that this one is simply moot because of the standing issue.
SCOTUS watches a big story in the next few days. Eamon, maybe again tomorrow. We'll talk soon. Eamon Javers. Let's
that's interesting. The day before, think about that. The day before the debate between Biden and Trump, the Biden admin gets slapped by the Supreme Court. That is interesting timing. But, whatever. Welcome to the world of politics. The world of politics. It is a crazy world. All right. So, Nvidia had a nice little run here. It's now up 1.3. Not bad. Good job, Nvidia. Qs are up about 19 basis points. Looks like you went for another leg up here. Tesla's up 3.3% right now. Nice leg up right here. Had some volume. Volume's now lower again. So unclear as to if this is going to keep going. But there's your red candle. It wouldn't surprise me to see another leg there. Faraday Futures now heading on down as well. This thing went all the way up to about 127% while they were yapping over there. And let's see here. Okay. There we go. Okay, so now we have, let's see here. ARM trending up. A little red there on Tesla. Qs a little bit. Look, Rivian's trying to come back to its line. It's like the leash. It's getting pulled back in. Chipotle post-split. Looks like it fell like 1%. Now it's trying to recover. Whirlpool's up 13. Coins moving. Cells down 2.8. Coins actually only moving by like 22 basis points. Supermicro's gone nowhere. Stuck at 840. Absolutely no momentum. GameStop's got 1%. Good. Palantir. Tesla is somewhat giving up over here. It had that extra volume, but just gave it up. So, sometimes these things keep going. Sometimes they just consolidate. Faraday Futures giving up pretty nicely right now. And Q's rotating, and Nvidia is topping out. Okay, good. Let's see what else is news here. So what are they talking about?
Deliver a beat and raise. We're not concerned so much with the next year or so for Nvidia and the rest of the Mag 7. But what happens here, Mike, is that you begin to price in the current growth into perpetuity. That's where it gets a little bit unnerving. And so we just have to be prepared for volatility around that segment. And it can be triggered by any number of forces.
And crowdedness, too, is a factor here as well, given that it's now seen as the most crowded factor in the market, whereas value is the most underweight. And this has happened at a pretty exacerbated pace. Is that something that also concerns you, just kind of the groupthink surrounding this?
It does. The crowdedness as it pertains to NVIDIA and the rest of the Mag 7, it's going to be a conversation for some time. and it's going to play out differently for different investors, right? So there has been this aspect that if you're not involved from a portfolio management perspective in, let's call it, the Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple cohort, which are now approaching 20% of the S&P, you're going to have your own relative performance issues, right? At the same time, a lot of portfolio risk management is going to say, yeah, take some off the table as these stocks are rallying.
Bitcoin's moving up nicely, so you got some bullishness there. By the way, have I mentioned this is all brought to you now by Coinbase? Go to metkevin.com/Coinbase to get up to $200 in free money when you sign up for a Coinbase account. It's metkevin.com/Coinbase. Paid partnership, paid promotion. I got to get my soundboard back. Link below. See, it just doesn't sound the same if I do it.
Prepared that as that cycles through, yes, there's the fundamental momentum that comes with that we think is in good place. It's time frames that become relevant, right? How much is priced in versus what you can deliver short term versus the longer term setup, which we're still quite comfortable with.
What about this added notion, really since Macron called for snap elections, that European headwinds are U.S. asset tailwinds, right? And you look at percent of global market cap, price to book differential, right. U.S. stocks looks great, right?
Well, that's a whole different discussion, Carl, because it wasn't that long ago when we were looking at Europe and we're saying, gosh, Europe's easier setup here. It's less expensive. You got underlying economic growth improving. You've got central banks potentially easing. And what's not to like about this? And then all of a sudden you insert the geopolitical or the political circumstance into it. And now all of a sudden that money that you thought might be flowing to Europe suddenly has a different place to go. Another reason to come back to the U.S. Valuations aside, we just have to be attentive that what you're getting.
ARM is moving nicely. So I'm watching ARM right now. They're just getting some nice volume out of nowhere, it looks like here. Tesla's not seeing the volume right now, so it makes for a much more risky trade. And Nvidia is slowing down a lot here, also lowering volume. You only got a stick of volume there right now for ARM, though, so I don't know how long that'll last. And then Rivian's really struggling to try to keep it up to that level there. Q's now trying to pop a bit. So all your underlyings are probably moving up, your Microsoft and whatever. Oh my gosh, Enphase is green, that's crazy. Yeah, Amazon's up 1%. Nice pop on Amazon, let's go. Trying to go to 188.65 maybe. Yeah. What do we got here? BTC, not bad. 61.9. Above the line though, that's what keeps the market bullish here. Also getting stuck with low volume at the line on Robin the Hood. Yeah, see, one candle's not enough for your trend, so you're giving it right back there on ARM. And Tesla just does not have volume right now. I think you gotta just like be done until the end of the day. It's just there's so little volume. Just doesn't. The more you move sideways, if you're playing 0 days, well, weeklies, the more expensive it's gonna be for you. All right, so what do we got? Cudlow, invested in you. Oh, really? And then the gold ad. Oh no, cut the gold ad and go to the Spectrum guy. Okay, all right, I understand. Let's go to Doomberg. How do I join the course member live? Watch lecture 1.0, and then that'll get you linked in. So just make sure you finish watching lecture 1.0. Oh, shout out to those of you that joined. Daniel, Peter, Chris, I don't know how to pronounce this, Zuriel? Welcome aboard. This is, okay, Nand Hakumar. Welcome aboard. Peter, Alex, Matt, Yalv, Hamza, Robert, welcome aboard. Stocks and Psych Group, thanks for joining. All within the last bit here. And looks like somebody joined the mastermind as well. Shout out, thank you so much. That's supposed to be like really small group. Probably be like, 3 to 5 people at a time is my expectation in various different places around the country 4 times a year. So that'll be really cool. That's at meetkevin.com/mastermind. Okay. But that's also on the expensive side. Stocks and Psych course is very affordable. Look at Nvidia just give up here. It's like tempting to look at like the volume starting to increase over here. So I'm curious as to why, but nobody knows. Just you get these fluctuations, crazy. All right, let's listen in here.
Number one carbonated soft drink innovation in the industry, $300 million in sales in the first year, and following it up this year with one.
How can I get personalized portfolio advice? You know, we used to have that at stackhack.com, but we've actually turned off that service for right now, so we don't have any clients. Mostly because we're so focused on working with our underwriters for House Hack right now, and our broker-dealer work, that we just don't have the capacity to provide personalized financial advice right now. So we don't have any. We provide personalized financial advice to no one right now. That's different, obviously, from a mastermind where you're talking like entrepreneurship and business, or, you know, getting ahead in your job or your career or family or whatever, you know, non-securities related activities.
CPG, you must be consumer centric, and we are here at Keurig Dr. Pepper. And so I think we really have our pulse on the consumer, understanding kind of the trends, what's hot and what's moving, and then immediately tapping into that cultural moment with our brands. And a brand like Dr. Pepper is a...
Try PayPal.
Our consumers love this brand. They're so engaged in this brand. And so moments like that, Dr. Pepper with pickles, dirty soda, etc., we tap into it, we innovate against it, we market against it, and it just amplifies already that passion.
The dirty this is a freaking ad. That's totally an ad. It's the same thing as Ferrari. It's annoying.
Going forward, look, I don't...
Oh, yeah, here's somebody who's got audio on lock.
To see kind of the fruits of the labor outside of a capital perspective come to fruition in the next, year and a half, 2 years. But with the launch of R2 and the launch of Volkswagen's future platform, I think that's when we'll start to see it come through in the 2026, 2027 timeframe. And outside of that, CEO RJ Strinch talked yesterday on the call about the ability to kind of expand the revenue opportunities to other OEMs. Maybe once you get past that initial platform rollout in the 2026, 2027 timeframe. So I think there's a lot of room to run, but it's very early, having the agreement just announced.
So you have still Amazon as the largest shareholder of Rivian, with also that agreement for future deliveries, and now Volkswagen. Is it some kind of endorsement?
Getting some red right now on Bitcoin, the Qs, and some of the others.
Essentially latching into a player.
The next fib level for Tesla isn't actually until you get to like 220. Yeah.
Certainly, it's a validation of Rivian's technology.
People are like, he's in the toilet. It totally does sound like someone in the bathroom on the phone. That's a good one. Okay, Bitcoin just took a dump. Speaking of bathroom, that's going to be bearish sentiment here for a moment. Interesting. I wonder why. Not much. It's the minute candle, but it's a pretty large candle there. So, the Qs, yeah, everything. I hate this. Don't trade this. Do not trade this activity. This is disgusting. Certainly not with puts and calls on buys. I mean, maybe if you want to write contracts. Not personalized advice. I don't know what you like doing. I don't like writing contracts. I think the risk to reward ratio is highly screwed. Think about it. Like, you write a weekly contract. What are you picking up? Like 1%? But then your risk, certainly if you're naked calls, your risk is infinite. If you're writing puts, you might get stuck holding a bag. So I don't like writing contracts, because see, what I like is like, okay, I put, whatever, 120K on a Tesla option this morning, and then it turns into, 100K profit on top of that. Like, that risk reward ratio is really nice. Now you could be down 100K too. I've had plenty of those days. There are days I'm up 200, there are days I'm down 100. It's totally normal. That's called trading. But it's pretty wild that the risk to reward just feels so much more balanced on weekly options than it does that you buy than on writing. So I don't know. Maybe I just haven't found the best strategy for writing. So, all right. What else is going on here? ARM keeps moving up. We mentioned they were trending up, and they still are. Faraday's stabilizing. Tesla's trying to green candle a little bit. Hood's right at its line. Q's going back up. So I don't know what Bitcoin's problem here is. Right to the line. Bouncing now on the line. Let's go. Let's see if it holds it. So even after all this, there's still people that are like, oh, technical analysis is fake news. It's like, okay. Okie dokie. Citadel writing to Wall Street bets, folks. Well, I mean, that's market making, right? What they're doing is they're picking up the spreads. Like, they don't care if you want to, like, if you want to write options, they'll buy them. If you want to buy options, they'll write them. They don't actually care about the price movement because they're fully hedging the price movement. What they're doing is they're taking the spread between the bid and the ask. You know, so like you go into a stock that doesn't actually have a lot of options liquidity, like ARM, and then go. ARM's actually looking pretty good right now. This isn't horrible. Okay, let me go to another one. Which one has a lot of spread? Coin. So you look at, oh yeah, this is crazy. So you look at Coin. You know, I got like a 40 or 50 cent spread here at a nearly at the money option. I mean, I'm almost over 10% of a spread here. And so this is your market making, right? The bid versus the ask. And so this is why, like, if you buy an option and sell it right away and the stock didn't move at all, and you're like, what the hell? Why did I just lose all that money? The market maker took it. You know? Lines hack. Oh no, that's my cartel business. Yeah, I already used that name for that business as opposed to day trading. That's a nice move on Apple. I've been eyeballing the 215 contracts, and I just didn't have the cojones to do it. Oh well. So, wow, Nvidia, what the hell? Oh, whoa, it's going negative. Oh,
lost the lead.
Oh, what's going on? It was that omen. I'm telling you, it was the Bitcoin omen. Bitcoin's always right. Ay, 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 ay. Somebody says the stock is twerking.
That industry experience that you have, what lessons are you bringing to Keurig Dr. Pepper?
Oh my God.
Yeah, thanks, Katie. Yeah, look, I only joined this company last year, but I do bring over 30 years of experience.
I really don't care. This is so dumb. Why do they give this person so much airtime? I guarantee you it's because they paid. They paid for this slot. Okay, I can't guarantee that, but it wouldn't surprise me at all that these companies, they come in here and they're like, look, we'll pay you 500 grand. Let us go on your show and talk for 20 minutes. Because usually they put like, you get like economists on or contributors or people with a point. They cut you off after like 6 minutes and they go to the next person. Ferrari for sure did as well. Not guaranteed. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Revenues hit an all-time high after those cuts, and the problem is Democratic spending. So to figure out the answer, I dug into the Treasury data, which shows that neither side is entirely correct. So take a look at this chart. In the year after the tax cuts, revenue from individual and corporate taxes was actually flat. It then fell during the 2020 pandemic and started rising in 2021 with all that fiscal and monetary stimulus. In 2022, that was when revenue hit that all-time record that Republicans talk about. Individual tax collections, $2.7 trillion. Corporate income taxes reaching $440 billion. The main reason, as all of our viewers know, the stock market in 2021. That was up 27%. We had all those IPOs, the SPAC, record stock sales by insiders. That created record capital gains revenues. Since then, take a look, revenue falling back down. Individual tax collections are now flat compared to 2018, so they haven't moved in either direction, even though the GDP has grown by over $2 trillion. The best measure, according to tax analysts, is you look at tax revenue as a share of GDP. So in 2018, it was 17%. Now it's 16%. So revenue did not collapse, as the Democrats claim, but it has declined relative to the growth of the economy. So this is all really important for the debate over how and whether you extend those 2017 tax cuts, because the Republicans would like to do that, saying it won't really cost or add to the deficit. This really says it might a little bit, but the real issue is spending.
Well, the reason that we have to renew or allow them to expire the tax cuts is because the CBO math said if you prolong it, it increases the cost, the net cost. And they wanted to make it seem deficit neutral or close to it. And so it's almost like there's a third party out there saying this is kind of revenue negative on a longer term basis.
Yeah, it was an accounting trick that has become a political nightmare.
Yeah.
When they decided, look, the only way to make this work under reconciliation is to say it expires. And now the question is, I think it is one of the, if not the most important issues. What does Congress look like? And if it is divided, will you get any consensus on what it costs? Because you can dynamic score it and say, well, growth is going to be X and it'll make up all the difference. In fact, even with dynamic scoring growth only accounts for maybe 20% of the cost. So you're still talking 80% of those costs are going to feed through on lower revenues.
I always think back to Mnuchin's confirmation hearing, where a big story was the tax gap and enforcement and lost collections, right? And then we went through this big debate about the number of IRS agents. Is that even material to this discussion?
So remember, they got $80 billion.
Wow. Nvidia just had a little fat red candlestick there. That's pretty wild. That's insane. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know why, but now it's going green candle here. So that was a crazy move. It was fast. Okay. So, let's see here. That was kooky. Okay, so I just, oh, yeah, it didn't give me a good spread. That's a bummer. I had to stop at 180 on this contract. It gave me 172 on the fill. So I picked up, only 16K. Oh well. Yeah, that was crazy. All of a sudden, that thing was just like moving like crazy. All right. So, I don't know what it is, but I think it's that Bitcoin leading indicator is really sent a signal there that you're going to get some red here. I came in as soon as we broke this 125 line here. I saw this break. I'm like, that's not good. That's going to trigger. What happens when you break a line is it just triggers the algos. So like the algos fire on the opposite end of the line, and then they push you down heavy or up heavy, usually when you break to the upside. And then the order book gets more balanced. So theoretically, moving this up, you should get a nice candle up, but it depends on if the algo's reloaded, basically, because we were just there. So kind of interesting. Whereas Tesla's just moving sideways. But yeah, the Q, everything had that sell-off. Almost, except for Tesla. Robinhood, the Qs, that was weird. I think I was a little late on it. Obviously, I was still able to make $1, but I was a little late. And it was frustrating to me because I was watching the option too. I was watching it. Like, I didn't get into the option until 150. I was watching the option since 98 cents. And I'm like, damn it, Kevin. But that's okay. That's trading. You can't do the woulda, coulda, shouldas. Getting stuck now at the line. How interesting. Yeah, look at all that volume that came in there. I like these trades, by the way. So like I look for the signal of in an increase in volume and then a direction. But you have to set your limits tight so that when it flips, you're not screwed. Because what I see a lot of people do is if you don't set a limit, you kind of get emotional and you're like, okay, well I'll just wait for a green candle and wait for it to come back, and then it never does. Is Amazon going bonkers, people are saying? And Apple? Oh, wow, it broke that line. No way. Oh, wow, that's nice moment. What news is there on Amazon? What the hell is this? Yeah, it's moving like there's news. That's crazy. Amazon announces Prime Day sale will be July 16, 17. Yeah, so what, bro? Don't matter. When's Tesla gonna move again like that? Coinbase, and then where's Nvidia? Nvidia's getting rejected. Wow, that's very interesting. Okay, all right, whatever. So we gotta go do the Course Member Live stream. So I guess if you haven't joined yet, Stocks and Psych, check it out. A lot of people bundle it with either the gold course or the other course. Thank you to those of you who just joined in the last few minutes here. Trey, Shakir, probably screwed that name up, I'm sorry. Garrett, welcome aboard. Thank you so much. I look forward to working from an educational POV with y'all in the group. It'll be fun. And I'm gonna push a button now. Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. Boom, boom, boom. There it is. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. I don't know, I enjoy this stuff. I hope you enjoy it. It's kind of like a fun party. And a stock party. So anyway, yeah, thanks so much, and we'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.